Calendar. You're counting the number of days for first term. Okay, keep an eye on the calendar as well. So our class starts with this important guidelines you will be following, as I told you. Let's go to the second slide, making requests and responding to them. Okay, today we are doing the full speech poetry analysis. Let's see, these are the takeaways of today's class. These are the objectives. You'll be learning these things from today's class. Appreciate poetry from different perspective. Okay. Then basic elements of a poem and structure. Let's see this, what they are. Okay, when you summarize, or let's say when you analyze a poem, you analyze on the basis of these things, like structures means how many stanzas are there, all right, and how many lines are there in each stanza. You also see the narration, who is telling the story in the poem, who is the persona, who's the speaker. You check that. Is he the first person, second person, I mean third person. Normally we have first person or third person narratives. Okay, then we go to next one, meaning. So what meaning or what message does the speaker, let's say poet, wants the readers to know? What is it all about? Okay. So every time the writer writes, they have something in their mind and they want to get this message across the readers community. So that's what they do. So we have to understand these things. Then comes the most important thing, imagery, or let's say the simile, metaphors, even those images that we already discussed, those five sense organs oriented images, right? So remember those things: auditory image, visual image, tactile image, gustatory tongue taste, and then comes the olfactory, the image that helps us to smell. So when these words come in the mind, so they immediately transform into the pictures, and they are all images that we call them. What examples literary devices can you find? Literary devices mean this: how writers, especially literature, what different things they use to make the readers so much glued to their writings, like poems or literature, fictions or non-fictions, whatever. Okay, so fiction means non-fiction also means Fiction means actually the imaginary, or let's say the cooked up stories, okay, or account of some events. But non-fiction means all those real things. If you read your school magazine and you get the information about the schools, income, expenditure, number of students, teachers, and all this, that is fiction. I mean, sorry, that is non-fiction. But if you read stories, poems there, okay, we can call these things imaginary things, created things out of nowhere, fiction. Then we also need to know the type of language they use, the speaker, the writers, or the poets they use. Okay, what kind of language they use? Are they trying to use too many adjectives, adverbs, and trying to create a sort of effect in the minds of the readers? We have to see these things as well. Then finally, emotions. We have to see what is the feelings of the writer or the poet, okay, and what kinds of feelings he wants to arouse in the minds of the readers. That's also important. So sometimes the emotions or the mood can be very positive, sometimes very sentimental, sometimes very confident. All these things we get from language, because when we are reading a poem, we don't see a person is showing his expressions, showing his body language and all these things. We have to understand all these things from words. So the words that help us understand the body language is what we call emotive language. Let's go to the poets now. Actually, this poem was written by two sisters, Anne Taylor and Jane Taylor, okay, British poets. So after the marriage, she was popularly known as Joseph Gilbert, all right, Anne Taylor. She was born, look at this, 82, 1866 she died, and look at this, 1783. So the age gap between the two sisters is only 1 year. Only 1 year. That's why they often wrote things together, and their mindset, their understanding, their bringing up was almost the same, because 1 year difference is not a big difference. And remember, sometimes you may take part in this KBC, or sometimes you may take part in who will become the millionaire or billionaire. Then they might ask you the question, okay, tell me the name of the sisters, or let's say the person, the poet or the writer who wrote Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Then if you know Jane Taylor, then you hit the jackpot. So it's important. Information is important. I mean to say that information is very important. We need to have information to tell things, to make people believe what we say is true. So if we just speak without information, without facts and figures, people may not believe you, right? Next, let's go to next one. This is a detailed story of these two poets, the sisters, right? It's not responding. Okay, just wait. Okay, it's too small to read, right? It's too small to read. If I go for a full screen slideshow, then sharing would be stopped. So what I do is I will put that link. So this has been taken from Oxford University Press. Okay, and the British women writer. You find out this, the British women writers in the Google, then you get this and you can read it on your own. Let's go to the poem now. Okay, this is a fish, all about fish. I'm not sharing the YouTube video now because again, if I share, it stops everything. All right, let's go to the poem. The poem talks about Hook, and Hook plays the role of a billionaire, right? So this is Hook. What do we say? What do you say Hook in Nepali, your language? What do you say? There is a character in one of the Nepali serial. He often goes to fishing. Okay? He often goes fishing, and his name is also with the same Hook. Hook dai they say, but Hook you have to say in Nepali. Do you watch Durmus NTV series, Durmus joke series, comedy series? There is a character called Bolsi Dai, and this Bolsi means hook. You got that? This Bolsi means hook. See how we trap fish and we kill them for our food. Let's talk about this. Okay, the poem. This is the poem. You may have already read. Dear mother, said the little fish, is that a worm I see? I'm very hungry and I wish you would get the home for me. Actually, you could put this into music. If you are a little interested in music, you could put this into music and you can sing it as a song. Since I'm no musician, I don't know how music would be added to this poem. Okay. If I knew, I would definitely sing it as a song, but I don't know. If anyone is there who has tried to put this into music, you can just recite in that way. Anyone there in our class who is in the vocal, who is in the composition of music, keyboard and all? Anyone there? None of you? So no worries. Let's just get the information. So who's the speaker here? Dear mother, say the little fish. The little fish is the speaker here. Is that a worm I see? Oh, is that a worm I see? So the hungry fish. Whenever you are hungry, you see food. You look for food. Your mind looks for food and you see those things. When you are scared and you are alone at home, you start seeing the apparition in the rooms, right? Whatever we desire, our mind creates that. Sometimes if we cannot have those things in real life, in the dream you see those things, because this mind is so conscious and mind is so active and working all the time. Mind and heart, two things, they are hardly at rest. If the heart it goes at rest, life will be over. But mind can be passive, but it may not be as active. It can be dormant, but it is always working, right? That's why we remember what we have in our dreams. If the mind doesn't work, you are asleep, how can you remember what dream you have had? That's why these two things now, body, they keep working all time. All our life they keep working, never stop. No break for them. Okay? So there is no break for them. That's why we should not be, putting loads. So we should not be taking too many cares when you go to sleep. We should not be taking things unnecessarily seriously, let's say, right? Whenever you're not supposed to take things so seriously, you should not be taken those things so seriously. Got me? Now see, I'm very hungry and I wish you'd get the worm for me. Sweet innocent, the mother said, cried. That means there are two characters. So far we found two characters there, right? Mother and the baby. Sweet innocent. Look at this. Mom says, "You are so sweet. You speak so nice. Okay, I love your voice. I love you, but you are innocent. Means you have no idea what that is. That is not just a worm. That must be more than that." The mother cried. Cried means she was worried, and then she alerted her baby. She alerted the baby and started from her nook. Nook means the corner. Mother was somewhere in the corner. Probably she was doing something, preparing something for the babies. Okay. That worm you see is there to hide the sharpness of a hook. That means now the mother tells the truth. Actually, the worm you see is not the worm to be eaten and quench your hunger, but it is in fact a trap. There is a hook. I just showed you the hook. These kinds of hooks. Look at this. These hooks are placed inside the worm. You know worm? Usually earthworm. So when we used to be very small and we had a very big field to work and there was a big river nearby, sometimes we would go during the holidays, school breaks. We would go with the hooks and the fishing rod to the nearest river and then we start using this to catch fish. I did it and it was great fun doing that. We never realized the life, there was life in the fish, and the fish could have family members, the fish could have babies. We never realized these things. But now, when we read poems and when we read others, when people talk about animal rights, when they talk about being vegan and all these things, then we realize, oh my God, I may have committed so many crimes of killing the innocent animals, or let's say animals on the land and in the water. So sometimes we feel bad for our own deeds, but they were necessary. We had to learn. Okay, you also have to learn. So you learn at the cost of somebody's life, or by paining by what paining others at the cost of others' sorrows. We have our pleasures. That should be very, that is very bad and should be avoided, right? The sharpness of a hook. The mother is telling, as I have heard the little trout. Look at this. As I have heard. Now who comes here? There are two characters we found. Then there comes another character I. Who's this I now? Who's this I? This I is the poet himself. Now he suddenly interrupts the character. So you have, when you are a writer, when you are a poet, you have every right to interfere any character at any time because you created them, like the people who lend their houses. They can go to the tenant's house anytime and tell them what is what. They do here, right? In the same manner, so when you create a poem, a piece of literature, you have every right to discriminate, to punish the characters you like, the way you want. Okay? See here. I have heard the little trout was young and foolish too. Now look at this. And presently he ventured out to learn what might be true. Look at this. And I have heard. So the speaker interrupts the characters and then he starts narrating what happened there. What happened after that? The little trout means a small fish that lives on usually the fresh water. Okay. And presently he ventured out means took risk of going out there. Ventured out means took risk to obtain something. Taking risk. Ventured means here taking risk to learn what might be true. He did not believe his mom. Look at this. The little trout was not only innocent, arrogant too. Look at that. Look at this oxymoron. Two contradictory adjectives are given to this little trout. He says, mom says innocent, and now he does not listen to his mom. Innocent kids should be listening to mom and dad, their parents, our elders. So he was not just innocent, he was arrogant too. Arrogant means not believing others easily. Okay? To learn what it might be. That means out of curiosity as well. So sometimes, kids, children like you, You have tremendous curiosity in you, and you don't believe people easily unless you experience yourself, especially teenagers. They would like to experience themselves, a lot of things. They would like to experience. They listen to their peers and friends more than the parents and teachers. We have already had the experience of what is right and wrong and how things should be proceeded. So teenagers have tremendous curiosities in them, and these curiosities sometimes lead them to trouble. There is a saying, right? Okay, curiosity killed the cat. There is a saying, right? Curiosity killed the cat. That means if you don't believe your elders and seniors, if you don't trust them and try to experience things, you may not get a second chance to learn the lesson and tell it or share it with others sometimes. So, most of the times, you may get the second time to share your experience with others, but there might not be a second time because things would have already gone too far from your or away from your control. Let's see the third, fourth stanza now. Around about the worm he played. He went on playing in the water around about. One, right side, left side, up and down, all sides. That means the little fish observed very, very carefully, observed the worm very carefully, whether or not it was a trap. With many a longing look. Longing means here with full of desire, full of temptedness, let's say. Okay, full of as he was doing that. And dear me to himself, he said, dear me means like expression, certain expression of grief, certain expression of shock. Okay, dear me, oh my God, like that. And dear me to himself, he said, I'm sure there is no hook. All right, I don't think there is a hook. He concluded. He looked from all sides. He observed the womb very carefully. And dear me, he said to himself, there is no hook. He concluded that there is no hook. But actually, his conclusion, his decision, or let's say his plan, his plan does not go the way he decided. Okay, let's see. I think I'll give one little bite. And that was what he did. And thus he died in hapless plight. Hapless means unfortunate. Plight means sorrow. Okay? Hapless plight by not doing as he was bid. Bid means ordered, asked, told, suggested by his mother. So the now we will be analyzing. So the major idea of the poem is the little ones, the younger children, teenagers or even younger, they should listen to the elders' voice. They should follow what they say, not practice what they do, but follow what they say because they are experienced people and they have gone through these things already. If they don't follow what the elders say, if they try on their own without properly observing, then there are chances that they might fall in trap or even lose their lives. Okay? So the message that the writers, or let's say the poets, these two sister poets, they simply want the little children to listen to their mom and dad, to listen to their teachers, to listen to their elders, to be far from problems. Okay? To be far from problems. And you know what? Truly speaking, according to the data, or let's say the research carried out by uh, neurologist. Okay, so children have very very prematured mind and they cannot make the right decision at this age. Your mind gets completely matured by the age of 28 to 32. When you are 28 to 32, only then your mind, your brain gets completely matured, and then you can make the right decision, you can think properly. Before that, you have to listen to so many people, especially seniors and elders, and then make your decisions on the basis of their guidance. That's why there are parents. They always tell young kids what they should do and what they should not do. And especially teenagers like you get irritated. You feel that they're they are nagging you more than necessary. They are really nagging you. Okay, we should not be feeling that. On the other side, we can see the relations between the mother and the son. Okay, father is not mentioned here, mother is mentioned. So here the mother, the fish, is representative character. She represents all the mothers. See the motherly love. If you don't listen to anybody, at least listen to your mom. If you don't want to listen to many people, at least listen to your mom. Your mom cannot go wrong about your life, about you. All right? Other people may go wrong, but your mom cannot go wrong. That's what. So, but again, there is a question. There is a kind of question. It is not absolute. There are exceptions. There are exceptions. There are moms, there are mothers who have attempted cold-blooded murder for of their children. These are exceptions. Okay, we're talking in general. So the exceptions are there everywhere, but we don't follow the exceptions. We go with the general rule. But that, so we can see mother-son relations or mother-children relations here in this poem. Okay. Another thing is our society. You can also look at this poem from the perspective of our society. Our society is a toxic society. There are many people who try to put us in trouble and traps. So we should be alert, we should be careful, and we should observe everything carefully before we make the right decision. That's what we learn from here, okay, from this poem, right? So you can see, you can get a lot of ideas, a lot of different things. You can connect to many things when you're reading this poem. Then you understand it. So we have to be alert and careful at every step of our lives. Let's go to the next slide now. There comes the questions. Okay, so until now, what I was telling you, I gave you four ideas, right? Four ideas. Number one, obedient. You have to be obedient. Number two, we have to observe everything carefully before we make the right decisions. Number three, our minds are not very much developed yet. It takes 28 to 32 years, long time to completely develop, and then we become the right decision. You know why the constitution does not allow people less than 25 years of age to to contest the elections, to take part in elections, to compete in the elections, because they are too young, they are too immature to make the right decisions for the multitude, for the people in the localities. That's why there are reasons why. Why only children uh, after the age of 6 can go to school? The rule says because below 6, the young kids cannot take care of themselves in basic things, cannot take care of themselves in basic things like sanitation, food, okay, like carrying books and other things. If you force them to go to school below 6 years, they punish you. They can be sent to Montessori's, they can be sent to kindergartens, but not schools. Okay, so these are the reasons why they make rules. Just remember those things. So what is the idea the poet wants to get across the readers? Remember, be away from problems and traps by observing, by listening to elders, by observing situations, all right, and being alert all the time. Be alert all the time, listen to the elders, and observe things carefully, because there are traps everywhere. There are traps everywhere, and people don't need any reason to put others into problems. Okay, because human being is perhaps the only animal, okay, in the biology, in the biosphere, that is so cunning, that wants to make progress at the cost of others' loss, while other animals, they don't do that. Okay, because their need is limited. Their need is hunger, sleep, and sleep, and what else? Hunger, sleep, and pleasure, let's say. Hunger, sleep, and pleasure. But we human beings have got more needs than hunger, sleep and pleasure. Pleasure of the body, okay, physical pleasure, right? So you will be writing, you collect, make a list of at least 15 different needs of human beings, okay? 15 different needs of human beings in the 21st century. Okay, make it a question. Write down this one. Make a list of 15 needs of human beings in the 21st century. So just write 1, 2, 3, 4 needs. You don't have to explain. Like I already said, hunger, sleep, and physical or let's say bodily pleasure. For animals, for human beings, these needs are there plus 12 more. You are writing 12 more needs. Okay. Let's go to question answers. Find the rhyming words. Okay, before that, let's see the rhyming pattern. Let's analyze. Look at this rhyming pattern. Fish here is this first line rhymes with the alternate line, third line. So we can say alternate rhyming scheme, right? Alternate rhyming scheme. Let's say A. Suppose if this A, B, A, B. A, B, A, B. Next, C, D, C, D. A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D. E, F, E, F. Then Z, H, Z, H. Then I, Z, I, Z. Wait, it rhymes with this one, hide, light. No. Hide, light. Da, toys there. Bit, did, bite, hide. Okay, this is different. Okay, the rhyming scheme is alternate rhyming scheme. All right, alternate rhyming scheme. And if there are 5 stanzas and every stanza has 4 lines each. Okay, and let's underline or find out the images. Let's find out the metaphor first. Are there metaphors? Metaphors means things that are used to describe something without making use of the word like, and as. Okay, let's find out if there is any metaphor. Did you find?
No, sir.
Okay, we did not find metaphor. Did we find simile? Simile means words that use to compare other words or other things by using as and like. The simile. So do you find simile here? No. Okay, let's talk about other images. Let's find out visual images. Okay, visual images, then auditory images, and then gustatory image, and then tactile image. Let's see. Dear mother said a little fish. Look at the fish, the word fish. The word fish itself is what? Visual image. Worm. Then comes mother. When the word mother comes, what comes? The image of a mother comes in our mind, right? Usually wearing a small scarf and a kind of a long apron, maybe work in the kitchen, right? Cooking food, or arranging the clothes, cleaning the room, arranging things, putting things properly, or talking to uh, the relatives or neighbors over the phone or from the balcony. These kinds of pictures come. Let's go to nook now. Nook is a corner in the river where fish live. Okay, this is also image. The worm already discussed. Sharpness, look at this sharpness. Oh, tactile image, sharpness. You feel that something is pricky, something pricks you. Okay, that is what you feel. Trout comes there, a fish comes in, the image of fish comes in your mind. Okay, look at it. Kinesthetic image is also there, ventured out, movement. When there's something movement, we call it kinesthetic. Kinesthetic is like kinetic energy. Kinesthetic image. So we can call it kinesthetic image. So ventured out, that is there. So we see that fish is moving slowly. Okay, we feel and see that. Then around about the worm he played. That means The fish, the little trout is moving. That's also kinesthetic, you can call it. Longing look. Okay? Longing look. Oh my, his mouth is watering and he wants to eat. He was tempted. I'm sure there is no hope. Look at his confidence, the mood. This is overconfidence. I'm sure there is no hook. When mother already said that worm you see there is to hide the sharpness of a hook. Okay, because she has lived a long life and she knows over the years, she knows what different things come in life. But the baby is still young, hasn't seen the world. The baby must be listening, but does not listen. I think I'll give one little bite. Look at this. Despite mother's warning, the baby insisted on doing what he liked. And that was what he did. And thus he died. Look at the word died in hapless plight. Plight means sorrow, pain. Hapless means unfortunate. By not doing as he was bid. Okay, so we can hear the mother speak, right? That womb you see is there to hide the auditory image. We can the whole sentence. We can hear that mother is telling these things. We can hear the baby is asking the mother to face the feast, right? Okay, this is how we got through the poem. We understood it in different ways, right? Number one, we have to be obedient. Number two, we have to observe the situation carefully. Number three, we should not take immediate decisions. Number four, there are traps everywhere in the society. We have to be alert at all times. Let's go to this one. These things you can do it easily. Rhyming words, anyone can do. So we are not wasting much time on this. So state the central idea of the poem in a sentence only. That's the question. What is the central idea means the theme, or let's say the message that the poet wants to put across. What is that?
So the worm
Before,
was used as a bait to trap the fish.
okay, central idea of the poem. The central I gave you three, four things. Okay, these are the central ideas. But you can take anyone which is major, like being obedient, observing situations and think carefully before we make the decisions, not to take decisions without observing, or always to listen to elders and think carefully before we take the decisions or make the decisions. Then there are problems, there are traps everywhere in the society. We have to be alert and cautious at all times. So you can choose any one of these that best reflects the poem. Which one best reflects the poem? You have to take that. Like, 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 if the fish was not a young fish, if the fish was let's say an adult fish, okay, the mother would tell something, still the adult fish would do something. In that case, we might not have blamed the adult fish. We might have blamed some other situations, some other things. But the fish was little innocent here, and mother said these things very carefully. Still, the young one did not listen to his mother. So why? Today's kids are like that. Today's kids are like that. You are into this gadget so much so that you don't want to listen to anybody. Look at yourself. You just say, just a minute, mom, just a minute, I'm coming back, I'm coming. She calls you for dinner, she calls you for lunch, and you are hanging on the gadget, and you say, I'm coming, I'm coming, coming, but you forget that the food has already gone cold. Okay, so Anudit is right, you are not wrong. All right, you are not wrong, right? The central idea is what? We have to be obedient and observe the situations carefully before taking or making any decisions, so that we don't fall into the traps. Okay, so that we don't fall into the traps. One sentence answer. We have to be, we have to be obedient and observe the situations carefully before making the right decision or before making the decision, so that we don't fall into the traps. Okay, you write this way and you incorporated all the ideas I said. in your answers. Now rewrite the following sentences in the correct words from the poem. Okay, you can do this later, but you know what is the meaning of this guiltless? Similar meaning: corner, attempted, yearning. So you know ill-fated. You know what? Later I'll be asking these questions in the test, maybe in the form or in the unit test. You should be able to. So guiltless means what? Innocent. Honor is no. Yearning is longing. Ill-fated is hapless. All the things you do yourself. Now these questions you will try to answer. Okay? These questions you will try to answer. Then you write true or false or not given. I will ask these questions using Google form so that it is easy for us to see this. But the question answers you have to write in the notebooks. These question answer write in the notebooks. Okay? You copy these questions now in the 5 minutes. Copy leaving 3 lines each so that you can write answers. Copy these questions leaving 3 lines each in your notebook so that you don't have to rewrite it again. Copy questions leaving 3 lines each. Start now. Copy questions leaving 3 lines each. Then our class gets over and we'll see again the other day. I also wanted to give you, okay, anyway. Copy these questions. 7
The
questions.
tasks and the test are not in the book that you gave us.
That's why you have to do it from the you just do these questions, only comprehension task. You don't have to do others. Others I'll give you as a test on the Google form later. Now here I stop my recordings because our class is over and you're doing
Excuse me, sir.
something. Yeah.
Sir, I missed my attendance today because I joined a bit late.
Okay, tell me your name.
Sir, Drishti Powder.
Okay,
Roll number
Ayesta, are you
7.
there? Let me ask everybody. Ayesta, Batista, Drishti Portal. Okay, I'll mark it present. So could you hear what I was explaining?
Yes, sir.
Niharika, are you there? Niharika, Nikunja, and Ojasvi. Rachel, are you there? And Sargam, are you there? Sargam. So whenever there are power failures, you wait for the message. We may redo the lesson later if it's so important. If it was only activity, other things, no, I won't do it. And we are, because we are already exposed so much over the screen. Because this lesson was important, the police face, I had to call you. So just be alert and be there. Okay. Whenever there are power failures, check the message carefully. Ayesta, Batista, Niharika, Nikunja, Ojasvi, and Sargam. So 7 of you missing.
Sir, if we have copied, we can leave.
Yeah, you can leave. If you've
Yeah,
copied
bye-bye, sir.
question, leave. Bye-bye, take care. You can leave the class, you just leave after finishing copying the question, leave 3 after each question so that you can write answers immediately after the questions. Be clever.